Even a mask can't hide Christian Kislin's joy for wrestling. You can feel the passion in his response and hear the happiness in his voice.
When you realistically came into this year and you looked at maybe what you can accomplish, did you set some goals, or what are some realistic goals you think for yourself?
Honestly, I just came to come and win, just dominate, and just have fun.
Do you feel like you've done that so far, all three?
Yes.
Win, dominate, and have fun. To do all three, the Hazleton area Cougars have been working hard. Just listen to Dante Mattarella trying to catch his breath before his interview.
Working out in there, you sound winded and tired, but how's practice going?
It's not bad, it's just conditioning now until we get in and get some motion going.
That conditioning is paying off.
Once you're tired, that's it. Like once you see people break down, that's when you start pushing even harder, and then they start breaking down, and it's just game over from there.
Hazleton area has been winning a lot, and they're closing in on a Wyoming Valley Conference Division I championship.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Hazleton Area High School.
With a lot of talented wrestlers coming back, including two that qualified for the state championships last year, the Cougars' success this season isn't a surprise. Head coach Keith Maurer had a lot of success wrestling in the area in high school and went on to compete at Penn State University, so he's rarely caught off guard, but he did get a little bit of a shock to start the season.
I actually had a bunch of football players that showed up to this year, and by a bunch, I mean a bunch, and they all were working well. Unfortunately, the governor's break, some of them, I guess, ended up with jobs, and not sure how the season was going to go. Didn't come back, but one did. By the name of Kellen Warner.
Warner, who passed for over 2,500 yards in his career, helped lead the football team to the District 2 6A championship game in the fall.
He's been a pleasant surprise, a guy that makes me wish I would have chased him a couple years ago and had him out here, because he does a really nice job for us. His work ethic is second to none. So we've been wrestling him at 160, which is probably his natural weight in wrestling, and then bump him up to 72. Put him a little bit of a disadvantage, but great kid doing a heck of a job for us.
The Cougars have also benefited from the return of senior Christian Kislin after some struggles on and off the mat last season.
He's a senior. He's a guy that had some troubles last year. As a freshman and sophomore, was a shining star on his team, and one of the shining stars. There's a bunch of them, but he was one of them. And last year, mid-year, things started falling off for him, and he, by the time the end of the year rolled around, he was non-existent. And we tried to get him back in, but it didn't work very well. And he contacted me early on and asked if he could come back, and I said absolutely. Love to see the kid back, and making sure that he'd have to fall into the guidelines that everybody else did, and so he came back, and he seems to be back to be a Christian of old, and I like it.
Coach said, hey, Christian struggled a bit last year, but has worked back and worked so hard. Does it feel so rewarding to go through something and do that?
Yeah, very rewarding, very. And the fact that coach sees it too, it boosts everything, the confidence, everything.
Hazleton area was dealt a blow when Oscar Zamudio and Jorvin Rodriguez went down with injuries. Zamudio was the District 2 AAA champion last year at 120 pounds, and Rodriguez finished third at 126 pounds. But surprise, surprise, other athletes have stepped up.
He 126 was Jorvin, but we kind of got a bunch of guys right in there. Jorvin's brother, Edo, a very talented kid who wrestled 106 for us last year, kind of falls in there. He's a little bit younger. He's only a sophomore. So, he's taking a little bit of his lumps right now, but I think in the long run he'll be fine there. And then we have another guy that I've been wrestling in there, Nate Ottmiller, who's been around for a long time too. So
Edonel Rodriguez and his brother Jorvin have been wrestling since grade school when their dad signed them up for a wrestling club.
You guys working? I mean, do you guys wrestle a lot, like at home or around, or work with each other?
He likes to show me moves. Yeah, and then we have a mat in our house.
Nice.
We like to practice, show each other moves, show show each other how to get better.
The up-and-coming underclassmen are blending well with proven seniors like Johnny Cora, Beck Hutchinson, Dante Mattarella, and Seth Hunsinger.
Johnny Core is a returning senior. You know, he's been around and he'll be approaching 100 wins. So, you know, he's a guy we can count on. Beck Hutchinson, who, again, another senior, has been here, put a lot of time in, but really hasn't had that shining moment yet. We're at high up on the podium at the districts. You know, he's come in with a great attitude this year, and I'm looking for big things from him. And then the last guy that, you know, we haven't mentioned much about that has been a workhorse for Hazleton area wrestling, Dante Mattarella. You know, this guy has done everything and anything I asked of the kid. You know, he decided to come up as a freshman, and him and I had a long talk. And I'm probably sure if you go back on some interviews or see the center speaker, I've said it numerous times, and I'll say it again, and I'm sure you talked to him. I told him, you know, Dante, this is going to be a rough road, but you got to believe in the process. And sure enough, here he is as a senior, and you know, obviously last year was a pretty big breakout year for him. Very helped us in a lot of different ways, and even now this year, you know, wrestling sometimes at heavyweight, giving up 50, 60 pounds and doing a heck of a job.
Take me back to when you were struggling. What was that like? What was so hard back then?
It was tough. I would come in daily, just get beat up by the older kids. I just kept pushing, going in the matches, not knowing if I would come out on top, but it's paying off.
Senior Seth Hunsinger and junior Bryce Molinaro both qualified for the state championships last season.
Something I definitely learned was, you know, just not everybody puts their clothes on the same way every day. And that's just the way you have to look at it, you know, because I wrestled the kid 13 in the nation, you know, and I think he beat me 10-3, and it was a very close match, and he hit me for 5 at the end. And, you know, you just have to look at it that way, as you have to go in with the mentality that you're going to win, because if you go in there scared, it's just going to end up bad for you. And that's what I learned from last year.
I mean, I've been working that hard, that's why I made it there. And districts, regionals was probably my best tournament all year. And then state tournament, I could have done a little bit better, but that's what this year's for, work a little bit harder and get back there and maybe place, and probably place. And my goal for senior year is just to be on top of the podium.
These are just some of the talented athletes and great stories that are helping make this season a success for Hazleton area as the Cougars continue to work hard together to win, dominate, and have fun. For SSPTV Sports, I'm Ken Cara.